nata nung minna jang walem ka coverage ke Michael Sankore la of course court case mi alon ko akata dum Colorado ngalon mo jamal bijele mi alon ko ya folole bari Seattle mudlalti mi alon ko Gambian din jamal le bijang so wala nan ko nga futa jam pour ni Gambia di wala kacha kabrin ka bo Gambia wato minna 1 week damal tutanum 1 week damale tambira kabring na député bongo ya fayro ke diaspora voted na zafono close 14 ya bondi dum jele miya tinna mo jamal bije miya lon ko e kam fata dum bake bayring e ko diaspora e mon pare wole voting ke ando nyimu kuleti miya lon ko e banko di jamal sula especially mol miya lon ko le diaspora wala na kabrin nata jang ko mbatunga na ning Gambia di ngole kacha milialon ko lebbi jang Seattle mudulal di milialon ko Gambia di jamal bijele milialon ko ebi jang amanke party kuti nak programme le milialon ko molbe dentala momo si diamuno isela hakil maya di ite mune mira about na National Assembly rejection of minke about diaspora voting na so programme o fango kungomu waldi ngalon speaker bi jani mi alon ko nyanta diamula mbokay di jajeufal kepa ko xamne rek yaangi setan jamono ji Kerr Fatou is a collaboration of course ak Gambia Talents promotion sama boss mungi pa Ousmane bon tabe mungi mun nga ko setan Kerr Fatou ak of course Gambia Talent this program la bo xamne is for the diaspora. I'm getting recently National Assembly of the Gambia they reject on the diaspora voting close 14 len gene won mujur ciolu bari lo xamne hewon na Gambia ak in the diaspora so lol mota bu ñëw fi ñu ne ñu ñëw Seattle because fi nekk na place bo xamne Gambian si bari nañ fi pour ñu mëna waxtaan képp ko xamne am nga sa xalaat bo xamne bu nga ko joxe rek dañ la jox di chance pour nga wax pour ñu ko because we have a lot of Gambians who have the diaspora bi I think it is important for you voice out of course ñom tamet lan lañ fokk wala sen xalaat si diaspora voting rejection bi so xamna ñu bari ñu fi ñaari lakay na xamna in the Gambia almost everyone mën na ko laga so mën nañ am of course the first speaker fi pour mu wax ñu lan moy xalaatam si diaspora voting.
First of all, we thank everybody for coming here tonight to join with us in the diaspora talk in the state of Washington, in the area of Seattle. We thank our journalists who are online right now, and also special thanks to the restaurant owner here, Fadiba, and the family for inviting us and giving us the space to be able to conduct this event here. Again, my name is Alhaji Saidi Sise. I'm one of the community members in Seattle here. Been here for a while, close to almost 30 years. But anyway, the reason for tonight's event is to talk about some of the burning issues that are happening in our native country in Gambia. We all know that everybody not be able to stay in Gambia. Some of us have to be in the diaspora. So, I mean, alhamdulillah, ala intele nibo, intel ngatara siring diaspora jam. But umanye itandiko, manke Gambia dingult. So, bemeng na diamo bi abita men na wolomu diaspora la nyanto. Diaspora la nyanto si keno melti. Gambia, kajeko, either the government or the Gambian people in Gambia, Puria diaspora fanang yela nyantol bunya yalon ka ko fanang mu banku dinglet nyantol mel bu ko munamu wala mu nyenti ko voting rights nyol especially because yawulu banko kan yamem banko kan nyinindiro yakendi yaboje bi dunia kuno banku jama ke la banku dingul bulale ya karto fay so mbe mansa kunda dani la bake puri so kata yo bulela miral kol kono baba bake kaje ko ya diaspora opportunity nying voting nying ya introduce nata ko nadanta logistics nyol la Gambia dingul be janne in diaspora melsi ma ko no kenyin carte fay kol nying ka facilitate for them And then maybe as people fear that corruption only could only biasness jail. But if it is not a Guinea-Bissau Gambia ke karto faije other countries Senegal our sister country Senegal ñol be ke karto fayno in Gambia del mel be diaspora jam fanal naftal ngaje ko fanal nga karto soto nga fay mo fulan jang be dame wala mo ñinti ko be kacala mel dol la jam wala mu ñun constitution ko do Gambia la banko ñanda tamala kitabu ko to menna sanji dantandin ko ma jang ngame chorno jallo lomba anala mol nata jande constitutional review committee ya kacal ki jande kacal melal ne ko lo jam fata bake and inen gambe dingol mitta jande some of us here melbe ñu holo to jang ngalan ka bo in del dolye committee meeting jamale ko sumaya kon and nga report all kile to the Gambia constitutional review committee and most of the part of the world Gambian will be down and they almost isiata de metata jelle to fana so wakita bo ne adara wo pareta be mansa kunda danele yake ala nin kila dron ye wakili constitutional memo me an ko Gambia ding bele involved to kono andum birin Gambia hani biri frada Gambia fana dara community jamal da mo jamal fana diamu da kola so be Gambia mansa kunda danna and in the parliamentarian or yakata let them think twice yakata yung constitutional men keda nun jang commando yakata yo pass mafo baro constitutional de mofo but the constitution for the Gambian people la constitutional yakata yo pass in the parliament and also masakunda fanan danela ye haklo the security issues in the country because ngala na ka of recent there is a lot of security issues that are happening in the country and laftal puru masakunda especially the security our brothers and sisters that are in the uniform even na banko la saf kan in the time of security ko ya banko dun tanka kendeke ya make sure ko yela doko keno nyanta kala nyama with the help of the government of course and ben local government final encourage la bake let them try and work with the government and government also try to work with the local government to bring a meaningful change in the country. Then la promotion the back diamulal be siarim back ngal beten to ngal jay the medias that are in here. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum be badil be konton be Gambian call be konton alignin karo men ki jakumara wala mo diaspora ndella nyanto Gambia amu munat ndinga ma nin ko sino be nyeda mi nyinen kala wolom munamun ndella nyanto di Gambia because ne Gambia la political process check a Gambia economy jibe diaspora's contribution is immense, at least 750 million United States dollars. Diaspora can contribute Gambia. There's no department in Gambia, either agriculture, tourism, either all the departments combined. There's no single department in Gambia that has a contribution that can match diaspora's contribution to Gambia. So for a presidency to ignore that section of the economy, I think it's a crime, and I think it's unethical. Until the president will blame, because nikere banko nyatu, inyada system will create la meyal banko la nyatu ta, inyada create. Gambia la population on here check, it's probably 2 million people. At least 200,000 Gambian people are living outside of Gambia. So to deny 10% of your population the right to participate in the political process, the right to make a decision of who is supposed to lead that country. If our parliament and the presidency can collide and then deny us that right, I think it's unjustifiable. I think Barrow and his government in some kind of political will to decide the right thing. And the right thing is Kamul allowed to participate and making a decision about who is supposed to lead that country. So to me, Niajibe Kulkita Gambia Kono, Ani Kuyala Wat. 2016, there was an improbable defeat that happened in Gambia. Nobody believed that Yaya Jammeh sa bondi noje. But again, ngafta nyoma jane ngau decision make ka bondi je. So we believe that Barrow will take the country in the right direction. But right now, we are at a standstill because ngamen denied in 2016, about the same system will be in the 2025. But in even 2016, everything that happened in a country is because the citizens allow it to continue. At central level hand side. If we want to make the right decision, we can still make it. Either the president allow us to vote, we still have a say in Gambia how that country is supposed to be governed. Because the main baby the family lekono, the main baby the regional letter, the main baby we have some kind of influence in Gambia. Because at least $370 million, $750 million contributed in that economy. So if we can contribute that, I think we should have a say. So until we down the government of Gambia, it doesn't parliament lumber, the presidency lumber, and the IEC is to get together and try to do the right thing. Constitutional Carola Neo Jibe, that is sad. Because Barola government leo constitutional na kanat. They came here, they listened to jam. After that, Gambia, we have a Gambian community here, we have a group. Almost every weekend it can meet to contribute to the process of that constitution. And the contribution of Kaki Gambia, and that input you all put together all over the world, our constitution of form. But because there is a clause in that constitution, presidency supposed to last only 2 terms, and then it is retroactive, which means that a term is going to be included. Because of that alone, Barrow Molbal the right to own a constitution. One man should not, decision should not override the whole population. The Gambia government will please get your act together. Alinga figo adumba kala nyadi pour Gambia se participate non te me yalan ko mantra Gambia ko par mu Gambia din la wulta jel nkuluta jel nkaranta jel nada jan simply for one reason wolon ka Gambia mako kana family mako ka banko mako together but ni ben denial for that right I just don't think it's right. So the Gambia government dan la ya figo adiba kala nyami, and then if they need our help financially, I think the diaspora will step up. That we will always be willing to help our country. In other journey, you cannot call in the Casilo le Doku Gambia con. I'm meeting not too long ago. If they can come and do that, if they want the finance to participate, we will be willing to put the money together and sponsor that election for diaspora voting. But Dukarim Baldanula, until maybe a parliamentarian legislature, plus the judiciary, and then the executive, Dukare. Alimol Marque be participate, Madison make it, be Jumara Kiran Koti. Barrow can still win, anybody can win. But citizens not deny the right, I think it's a wrong thing.
Welcome, Buba, Gajigo from Kerr Fatou, and my own home, Gambian Talents, Hi Pat Samba, Ngal Be Kontong. I don't want to talk here, but anyways, I'm concerned but first of all, I just Mbotanang Gambia in January, so I experienced the means of share follow to the compliments. Let me start with the compliments. So Kabrinkana Airport made a jail this time because the pilot was sick. We ended up canceling the flight was cancelled anyways, but left a compliment the airport management because airport Jonkong Nenema use. I heard so many bad stories about it, so I can't avoid it. But we'll meet again, and I was so impressed what's going on at the airport right now, because every Jonkongo, ye mole sindi bunda dala musolin keola Jonkongo me alanko ni mo fintero e katale ka clean. Definitely the bathrooms were spotless. They were all clean. They were smelling nice. They were all really. It was impressive because Dubai, Katani, Tripoli, China, Nyolto. Ilawo public bathroom wole ka wole ke ka mole sindi bunda dato ni fintita do yete ya clean. So I just want to say kudos to the airport management because I wasn't expecting that. Yeah. So another thing fanang left me for la mole njele kabring several years nka complain about poroto. Not when I said na friends like mane dimbele ni joma de nga muna last minute male ne do last minute. This year my Ramadan consignment got there day before corrector, which was really bad for business. But alhamdulillah, I had word that Tokiso Lea take over, and I said that in my video that things might get better, and it looks like things are getting better because no container will in the Gambia within 4 weeks after America. And then the ones going, I had the port is cleared, Kulungol baby empty, they are ready for business. I don't know who the stockist people are, but they are not joking right now. So alhamdulillah, Alma Kela continue kute. And another thing I want to talk about is the Konkana government dane, but I don't know who the Minister of Trade is. Na say Gambia youth soul marko, you know. I come kind of a factory me alonko packaging se sotono je comme musol se la bagasol sambaje yeta ye package. Come, even it can be government owned or private or whatever. I don't care who is going to do this. But niake come other countries sol kake nyame is a near dulani yele musol sila bagasol samaji ya wafila then you are packaged properly. Because definitely some of the stuff that we the business owners are selling, there is another business owner here, Fabakari, he can attest to this. Packaging is so bad now for the health department ni na like inspection or like they end up throwing it away. So mojama biye kalafika fengol wafi mamu kalafika. Not that I don't want to support my fellow Gambians, especially women. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a feminist. I've been one my whole life, and I love to support Gambian women. But akakoleale nila fengol mandada to standard. This is the United States of America. Nila inspector nate kabe tale ya fay gabi jukon, which is a loss for us business people. So natan se aussi faster ye because nan ñini karo kele fo batata I might be wrong, but malum for factory le from the Gambia min ka fengol process because Ivorian all and in Ghanaian all, Nigeria and where else, Mali, even Mali has a huge factory. It's called Demba Newman. Fabakari knows this company. Ikafindo package nyomuko ninga fale kuchaka kudo mimbondi min kuchaka kumuringo mimbe ulokono mi alonko you don't even have to buy it, you can just go minu bota santo to ya alone wula kono kucha sama kono ya kufa sena. If you package it in a way it can fetch thousands and thousands of dollars for Gambian women, you know, and other products mini alonko ikabona Gambia. So I can hardly put a girl patronize. And the more okay, but packaging will be jail. Most of them, it can packaging or the Angleterre or China or foreign countries. But okay, it become too expensive, so they have to put the cost on the product. That makes it too expensive because musudolem ben sudale na bole Talib kabimbe Gambia no. I went to Talib's office to meet her mfota nyoko, but then we communicated. I sample in a store to Gambia. But when I spoke with her, because our packaging in something is so expensive, she put that cost on. So ngajeko ninga sangatemani ninga sa New York from the importers from other African countries. I'll make more money getting it from New York than from her. So as a business person, I want to help, but I cannot jeopardize my own income because I have bills to pay. So not a fancy to no Gambia me alonko packaging machine ba me. I'm not talking about these small ones, the vacuum sealers and these small machines. No, I'm talking about factory or industrial kind machines that can package monomunko naka, monokeso, futolu, nyomuko, kuchalu, even kereng nitutuol, nifangol, up to standard. And at a cheaper, at a lower price in a way that then I wafi back for a profit. So ni wasi keno unti wulmuna main because kabrimena bitikoyela. I said it on, I think it was Kerr Fatou who was there, that if Gambia can maintain a packaging standard, a lot of Gambian business women will make a lot of money. I'm talking about making them millionaires, wallahi, because the African food business is a lot of money. Not that I make a lot of money, no, I'm not bragging. I'm not bragging, but what I'm saying is the population, Africanol, Ibe Dauda, Ikalafikila Domorole Doma. I cannot go without Super and Benachin. No, I don't want Burger King and McDonald's. I want my food, right? And that goes for everybody else. So, Molbe Dauda, Ikalafila Domorole, so need some water. So, my last point would be a complaint. Cash power. Everybody knows that I have 2 shops in Gambia. So it came to my attention that Namitanyol Kabrike install, ikoye commercial metalti. Whatever commercial meter is, I cannot understand. But I'm paying more money for cash power than I'm paying for rent. Every week is 1,000, 1,500, 1,000, 1,500. Nganyini karo ke ko commercial metalem because we are commercial. But when I looked into it, they said that's supposed to apply for to industrial, businesses, like businesses that are huge, come oil, CFAL, but we are small businesses. I don't know why we have to pay that much for cash power. So natra mobije mi yalon ko amari a care for Gambian citizens because at least a futa nyaaw nyantol fane mo kilim mo fula employ le min yalon ko ila life change because of our businesses. If you care about Gambian citizens, please look into that because that's not fair for a small focus like mine to pay industrial rate cash power. Cash power won't come in your rento. So nise mol mako ino woto, that would be really, really great. So walentela kumoti ngal tentu ngal jay ala baraka.
Thank you. Bubo, welcome to Seattle from Kerr Fatou. Thank you very much for coming in all the way. And thank you for your coverage for the court case in Denver. It means a lot to the Gambian people. I mean, I think that was a milestone. Pa Osman, as always, thank you very much. Sana, thank you very much. Thank you all of you for coming in. I wouldn't be that long, but you know me, I'm always Pa Osman. You know me, I'm always. But Buba, thank you very much. This is definitely not. Seattle is greater than this. I mean, we see. You hear Seattle all the time. I wish that we had time to organize this a lot more. You would meet a lot more people, but all the same, thank you for coming in. I just wanted to chime in on the diaspora vote, okay? Jalit sat here and then talked about, challenges that we've been challenged by our National Assembly, we've been challenged by our government. I just want to make it very clear. Government everywhere in the world would not give you anything that you did not demand for. Government would not give you anything that you did not demand for. We have to demand to be respected as Gambians. We have to demand that our contribution to the Gambia means a lot. We have to stand up for it. And we're taking up, a new project, mobilizing Gambians based on diaspora vote and a new constitution. So we're inviting all Gambians. It's not based on partisan politics, because the politics is what divides us. Things like diaspora voting, things like a new constitution in the Gambia, things like what is happening in the Gambia, the crimes, the lootings and the corruptions. You look at what is happening in the port right now. In less than 2 months, other citizens came from another country, and then they're able to clear the port, all the backlog. I was there 2 years ago when I shipped a car over there. I saw hundreds of containers. There was only one lift that was putting down the containers. In less than 2 months, other citizens from another country came in without new equipment. They came in and they declared everything. That is supposed to be a lesson for us Gambians, that we're holding ourselves back. We are a victim of our own doing. Our people, our citizens were operating that port for years. GRA celebrated collecting $11 billion. They clap for themselves. They pat themselves on the back. They meet their expectations. GRA is supposed to collect more than $30 billion, but they set the expectation so low. They set it so low that they can meet those expectations. Where is all the money that was coming from the port? This is an embarrassment to those who were managing the port. Those who are managing the port, you cannot even, there's running water right there on the port. There's the River Gambia right there. There's the Atlantic, the ocean right there. You cannot even get running water for toilets. We still have pit latrines. I mean, do we really, really, really like ourselves? Do we really love our country? Do we really love our country? Because this is us that are supposed to be responsible for what is happening in that country. The National Assembly voting to deny the diaspora. By the way, our right to vote is guaranteed by the Constitution. It is there. It's a matter of our citizens having the political will to implement. Section 14, they can take it out. It doesn't affect anything. It's, in fact, what Section 14 does is that it gives them the responsibility to demarcate the diaspora as the 8th constituency so that we can vote. It's for them to legislate, to put together structures and laws to say, IEC, this is how we are supposed to operate. This is how we are supposed to register this diaspora. They're supposed to put those laws together. But they failed that. But you know what? Are you surprised? The kind of caliber people that you see in that National Assembly, are you surprised?
No.
But are you going to blame them for being there?
No.
Absolutely not. See, what happens is that this is what Yahya Jammeh did, and this is what a lot of African presidents do as well. I keep saying, Buba, Gambia has 5 generations of Gambians or more, maybe 6 generations of Gambians that left the country. From the 1960s, Gambians have been leaving the country. They got educated, they got skills, they occupy some of the highest positions around the world. The World Bank, the IMF, the African Development Bank, the Islamic Development. We have Gambians occupying the ECOWAS and all those places. And yet, you compare that to what is happening in our country. It is shameful. Simply put, it is shameful, and every Gambian should be ashamed of what is happening in our country. I say when you go to Gambia, whatever is happening when you go outside of that country, outside of your house, you should be ashamed of what's happening. You should be ashamed of the roads. Obviously, there's some improvements in there, but that is what government is supposed to be doing. Those are basic functions of a government. The basic functions of the government is to build infrastructure, take money. Anybody, even Jammeh, build better roads. You go to Fonyi. You starting from Brikama, you go to Fonyi and you drive on that road. For years, that road is still a very, very quality road. So if it's roads, anybody can do it. But some of the governing issues that we're supposed to handle as a country, and we neglect that. Recently, I wrote an article, I said, are we a citizen of, are we just a citizen of, people who deny? Are we just people who are indifferent to what is happening in our country? That you go to Senegambia around in the evening or at night, you see these little girls and these little kids running around, but you don't care. You're driving in your nice car.
Yeah.
You look the other way. It looks like we're a bunch of citizens that really does not care about ourselves or our surroundings. You see multi-million dollar homes, but you cannot get to their home, to the house, without your car doing this. We cannot even come together and build our own country. It's a disaster. It is the same. On all of us, we need to take responsibility. By the way, I want to align myself with Fatou, as he said before. President Barrow is not more Gambian than us. We in the diaspora love the Gambia more than the people that are living in the Gambia. We do. Because I could look the other way.
Yeah.
I have a nice house. I'm running 2 businesses.
Yeah.
I'm driving a nice car. I get my salary. So I don't have to look back to Gambia. But no, every month, my stuff is not only going to my family, but going to other places. I am paying taxes. I build houses over there. I build businesses over there. I'm paying taxes. I'm sure a lot of you are too. So listen, Gambian diaspora, we love the Gambia more than the president loves the Gambia. I am telling you that.
Yep.
Because we put our resources where our mouths are. So this idea of, us, but at the end of the day, we, the diaspora, we need to challenge ourselves. So we're beginning to organize the Gambians, the diaspora, okay? Again, I mentioned it, not on partisan basis. We want to bring everybody together to start discussing about our right to vote. I said this in Sadar Karaba. I protested to the Attorney General and to the Solicitor General that my right as a citizen has been denied. And that's the same. And the same is not on me. It's not on you. It's on the people who deny that right. This is a basic fundamental right. It's a basic right that anybody is supposed to be proud of and anybody is supposed to be able to protect. The National Assembly's responsibility is really to protect the right of Gambians no matter what. And one of our rights, fundamental rights, is to be able to vote. is to participate in the governing affairs. It's not the politics, it's not the partisan issue. It's not the partisan issue, it's just that's what divides us. So the National Assembly, they don't even know what they're doing because some of them came back and said, oh, nobody explained to us. Dawda Jallow, the Attorney General, is supposed to guide the president. He's not. He's supposed to guide them, he's supposed to educate them on the bill and how the bills are supposed to be executed because they don't know. But again, corruption it looks like it is in our DNA. Yep. Look at what is happening in the area councils, the local government. Are you serious? No. I mean, really, somebody collects salary, collect taxes for 3 years, and they've been diverting that into their own personal account. That's crazy. Who is supervising that person? Who is supervising that person? The chain of command. And you go to Gambia, you see everybody is running to the mosque. Mo bebe salla ko baso. Bari ka sunaro kala ko melentang dundumala. You see everybody going to pray. The Ramadan came and they're buying sugar, they're throwing in it, but they're taking it from the sweat of the people. What kind of Islam do we just believe? And let's just look at the mirror. Just go to the bathroom. Ta jonko kono ye mirror kono jibe ye fan jibe. Bi ye mo jelle bali do morola bi. Mo jelle fata silo kam bi. Police olem da accident olem dang. Lopitano tolem.
They don't care.
They do, and sometimes they say the life that you protect may be your own.
Yeah.
Ni sasa da bibi la iboita state house bi. Dani be friend la Dakar. Ibe fu la mun tole follow. Ibe sambal RVH. Fentije.
Nothing.
Asikeno is tired. These are basic things that we're supposed to be doing as Gambians. And I urge every Gambian to start organizing and to start demanding. The media should be echoing things out, but these things will become numb. We just doze off. We become numb because there's so much rampant. These local area councils, you think about this. It's mind-boggling. Look at what's happening in Salaji. But at the end of the day in Gambia, from the president all the way down to the bottom, we're all complaining. But how many of us are doing something about it? How many of us? Ndola banku dia na fale. Nata ndelono la mfangwe. Kabrin jaja mebenunje, kelo membeke wafala ko, oh Demba Balde, oh Pa Jalinyolo, oh Ali Doko meke. I did not fight for anybody. No. I fought because this is what I believe. I fought because this is who I am. So Gambia, nata ibe sirin suokon, inata ye fama arrest, dinkele muri. Ye fama arrest, wala ye bama arrest, wala ye bari muso arrest, wala ye dingo arrest, ye osamba jail. You cannot do anything about it. If you cannot protect your own children and your own family, who can you protect?
Nobody.
That's exactly what's happening in our country. Yeah. Nation building is all of our responsibility. We're all police officers. We're all citizens. We need citizen activists. The leak that just happened from the State House. It's not even, under normal circumstances, the president's mom is part of their family, right? But the president you're boasting out, it had their free intellect. Kabi for the president, you should be, the very least, you should consider is spending taxpayers' money on your own mom. Ite fango na fale, ite fango la kodole, ika membeso.
Zero.
Come on. It's not even about right and wrong here. It's simply you are the leader, you are the moral leader. You're supposed to show an example.
He can't.
But they're asking for per diems. And then the government minister starts going around and explaining, 3.6 million. It's not only for the securities, it is for everything else. Everything they're trying to justify it. We have to do something about our country. Yeah. And the diaspora voting, we have to demand it, and we are beginning to mobilize people. We want people to sign up. If you're listening to this and you are interested in being a part of the diaspora mobilization, for us to vote, not about UDP, not about NPP, not about DOI, not about NRP, not about Mama Kande or GDC or SFL or anybody. This is about us.
But Mr. Balde,
and our dignity.
If you don't mind, what's your take, or who do you think we should blame? Knowing that the 2020 draft constitution should be taken to the National Assembly for a debate and then to a referendum, whatever is the case, then it should be added to it. But now we have in two draft constitutions, the 2020 and the 2024.
Right. By no means was the 2020 draft constitution perfect. It wasn't. A lot of people were not happy. I was part of the team here in Seattle that reviewed the old constitution, the 1997 constitution, from page 1 to the last page. And we also reviewed the draft constitution from 1 to the last page. And we agreed on some stuff, and there's a lot of things that we didn't agree on. But imagine this is what I'm talking about. How do you build a constitution around an individual? How do you build a constitution around an individual? How? Why was the constitution, the retroactive clause and all those things they were talking about, why is that about President Barrow? Constitutions are not about individuals.
Yeah.
Sana, we should blame ourselves.
Yeah.
Everybody, we should all blame ourselves. And that's what exactly, accountability. It comes down to accountability. Let us all blame ourselves for not doing enough to make the change. Yeah. That's what I believe. Listen, it's easy for me to sit there and go MP, so perhaps they cannot compete on a level playing field. But they found themselves in the National Assembly because there is no member contest or in Nyamena. You've been there, you've seen it. I keep complaining all the time. I say that Nyamena has nothing to show for it. Kabrin Jawara Lawado. We have the most powerful people, Sajambo Nyolo. Kata, LB Mboj, Kata, all those, Mama Nyoli Jama, all those people, some of the highest top government officials, but we have nothing to show for it in Nyamena. Nothing.
Yeah, I know.
And we always vote the ruling party, Yaya Jammeh and everybody else. We always vote for them. But there's nothing in there. But, who are you going to blame? You're going to blame the people? The people need to take responsibilities, and we need to highlight our members of parliament and us as the diaspora. We need to get up and do something about it. Don't blame anybody.
So, Demba, Jawara's mom is actually from Nyamena.
He is. I know. It's just Barajali is right there.
So, if you watch my reels last week, the river crossing that was is it Dankungu or Nyamena?
It's Gisadi.
Gisadi.
Yes.
Gisadi. I just post that.
Because
I've seen it. That is crazy. If people are, crossing that river by canoes, that's insane.
It's insane.
And that boat was full.
But anyway, what I'm trying to say, even how many Nyamena citizens are in the diaspora? We have a group. Mm-hmm. And we try to bring in some projects in there and then try to see something. But as soon as you mention the diaspora, they're thinking about the money that we have. And I'm like, no, we are not doing that. We're saying, where is your network? You as a national. Samba Jallow was the minority leader for years. Mm-hmm. He's been there for almost 15 years. Where is your connection? Where is your network to be able to go to government or to other places and say, this is the project that I want for Nyamena? At least that Nyamena Damkunkusilo. Mm-hmm. That road connected 40 villages. Yeah. And now this forum is not about Nyamena. It's just, but it connects 40 villages. When I went to the Gam Walks, they told me that that's not a feeder road. That's a major highway. They said that's not a feeder road. And guess what? They're starting to try to build that road now. You know something about it. Before the elections.
Yeah, because of the election.
I am telling you.
They just putting rocks there.
But are we going to be able to? And Sana, one of the things that you talk about, this is why sometimes I get discouraged about this partisan politics. Because you and I were fighting here. We were fighting with people here in the diaspora, tooth to nail against Yaya Jammeh. Today, those people are sitting in government. And they're doing exactly what we fought against.
Yeah, exactly.
So who do you trust?
Nobody.
Who do you trust?
Nobody.
What guarantees me that if your people are there tomorrow, I am not going to be fighting the same thing?
Yeah.
What guarantee do I have?
It's very, very sad. So,
it's not there.
Demba, I have
I'm sorry, I don't want to dominate the war.
I have a question, just a question.
Yes.
I think for diaspora, we need a plan B. We always have plan A, but we never have plan B.
Right.
So what are we going to think? What are we going to discuss about plan B? Because we need to have plan B. We cannot just be giving them money and we don't have nothing. So people need to think about this. We cannot just give them money all the time.
You know what we did?
I know what we did.
We fought.
I was there.
The change was there, but guess what? After the change, guess what? We walked away.
No, not only we walked away.
We walked away.
As a diaspora force,
disappointed ourselves.
Exactly.
Because
That's
the
my point.
first people who went there with the list of people who fought during
So
the,
I say,
the 2020, 2013, 2015.
I say,
most of our names are.
Jali, I say, and you can agree this. Jali, I say you are either on the table or you are at the table.
Yeah.
You are either at the table discussing about yourself, or you have a stake at the table, on what is being discussed, or you're on the menu.
Yeah.
They're discussing about you. And that's what happened to us. We fought all this time and then we let it. Some of us felt too big. People like me, they wouldn't even go to Gambia for a year after that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people to say he was looking for a position.
Yeah.
But I recognize my own failures at that time. I recognize my own failures because I fought all the way, and then all the way then I backed off. Right? I handed over to somebody else.
We all do the same.
We all did. So it was part of the things but we need to learn from that. As long as there is change, we haven't stopped organizing. There is going to be change. Thank you very much. Thank you, Buba.
Gambia Diaspora, according to the Migration Sustainable Development in the Gambia records, we have about 118,000 as of 2019. That constitutes about 4 to 5% of our Gambian population, which is about 2.8 million. So because we have different views, we have different leanings politically, regionally, and otherwise. So ninku membe wonya purka diamol be to yala coming up and yamming rek abakala. However, ngani numbers on them for the near GB 4.2% of our of the Gambian population is a big demographic or constituency. So ninku membe wonya they have a leverage in the affairs of the country. So Walla's stake in the country cannot be undermined or overlooked. Second to many other that 4.2% contribution to the local economy is about 31 to 32%. Because Ning Hakilo Baka, is it Professor is it Senghor, the senior advisor to the governor of Central Bank. Last time, a meeting at the Karavajawara Conference Center, he disclosed that the diaspora contribution was about $776 million, which constitute about 31.5% of the GDP. So if 4% of our constituents or our citizens are contributing that much to the local economy, you can fairly conclude that they have a big stake in the socio-economic and political affairs of the country. So in ya kujama hame in 2017, ya kujama in terms of engaging this particular constituency. Unfortunately, I'm saying dia moda mandebe kan ninku nana ta barola last time in the National Assembly when the particular provision menanta no diaspora allow to vote in the electoral processes of the Gambia was thrown out. So ninku this all for no same thing. Go across party lines, across socio-economic classes, this particular constituency has a big stake. In fact, you can argue World Bank records, Gambia portion of the diaspora portion is the highest in the whole of African continent. 31% is a huge contribution, to a GDP of any country. Mexico and Mbalajang, Niaje Benin tariff with our immigration code with the United States is because the diaspora contributes about 20% to their GDP, and they feel that near that would collapse their economy, and that would bring a whole host of issues, socially, politically, and otherwise. So until fanang ngamira banko ding without ending in every region of the world needs to participate in these processes, because not only that it is right, but again fanang it is their right. It is it just makes sense, you know, this franchise, you know. So in several for no and I want to again thank you all for coming over to see us. But I am a hybrid, a transition kind. But I'm not going to diaspora to because na ikapenya na host ni demo na host ni donte njiatel fele jam nata damani fefere no sutere karam kono ndemru la ko tengeno to be part of the home based constituency. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum. Molen be bende jambal be kontonna Kerr Fatou mbal kontonna anen Gambia talent alla na jang akuma ta bake ndebe damen fala wala mu diaspora voting ndala miro to be diaspora ko be njaw ya kanne kaw naman ka jawyati citizens rights ka dila kon telefona na decision on na decision on make no through votings ndamala na member of parliament ngoli si entel deny wala e be jawya kanni an jawya min fanam abe kene bala to so kuma mbo nyama e fan ka fu nyal lunjuma la so ko da mol man nyo sute kabri ya jame balanta ka ta bola banko kan sanjid mu wan feng kam diaspora ko pareta ko bi president men be syria fan ka fu ko diaspora ko le menke e ku kende bala ke nin diaspora da nyinta keno so nin diaspora ko le contribution o kiti at least ma foko mina president ya nyino la because o mantara constitution nyon ko mi dual citizenship isi minister ya fam keno je wala president ya keno je par nakate kilo me yalan ko ba fayla ko senegal ka ke nyamen jina nyol ka ke nyamen ndel fane o right jole bar hasi dialo mu jaw yala mu me yalon ko ibuka understand fam du kon telbe mu Gambia de on ledi nara me ngini janni nga soro jan nakata Gambia le aru nitel ka enjoy so kuma mbo nyama ni len tel bali wala adiyama be siala so no baraji Gambia security ben tembo men right now ani ku ya wara batala e ke si jane ticket o sang ni para yemira fombe sen mbe murula bak mbara dame mbam fonte murula bak fente fo sungolu tapalewulu e be siar na banko kam bak e be kan understand past 3 weeks every other day e be sungole mutala e be mole fala e be nyapela mole ke bala bundala katila so ntel fawn ke mira mem fam fam sama ka carte ko dama ke mira fawn la security la Gambia banko kan to gondel terra jang jay ga da biti ko re kido sang until we feel safe in the United States of America than Gambia right now. So nisi more dema. So mansakunda nisi more dema. Wasi bete abak. But nala na karta fire wala. Nti ni la wala. It's a right for us to do it. So either we go freeway or we go highway. Wala mun tala kuma din to musura hada fatir to Seattle, Washington.
Mol bembe na ta gambe mo be konton dro mbada tira Boubacar wala memun na lon tawati abota Gambia on behalf of Kerr Fatou be welcome na Seattle jam pa Ousmane Diouf man la nuyu parce que sa buñ oté dañu dé aussi yo singun nga boka Seattle mol me be jambe mo be konton na men laftana la fane man nanu yo debe men fola wala moko about voting right pour diaspora mo le vote ke alon banko ni ka contribute je ka ko soto gele no nataron ko man sakunda be sirale nako mel be na voting kala ibe vote kala against the government. I don't think so because mol bigana mel ya alon ko mo carte ni mo dun ta carte ke so faydula mo mo ronde ni alal kataragi asake ni mo tan dun tagi ifana be mo saba soto le kono ngamela entale doro ye la alala ya lon ko banko dingol mel ya lon ko bebe do ko ke kan janna ntol do kate fen kata Gambia na tar be voting ke no na jam ntita Gambia be tarra ganna ngana vote roke wala be dialan to because nka do ko kelen ka contribute na banko to le yo na tar masakunda be o ke no na ni manya na kala dani rote because sato mi gana mutta Guinea Bissau wol be la mo ka voting kele do ka ke Gambia be dame so control melialon ko we are even ready to fund ourselves
natari pareta ya silo di mo la ngake ntol bebe mbulo bulo na poso ko ni me ngata soto ya bonde nga make so ko nga kat nga voting ke mfanal kango lo banko kan wala ka banko samba fulan jango nyimbe be fula ba Gambia da security banko man banko na man ni banko dingolo me la safety ge banko to o mo problem olete aiji anala moli nyantale ene minister of interior ye banko dingola ko jibe ge lunta on men ka dum banko kan ye vet ya no mo lunta si falla kana parce que katere de bungo ni la bungo katiye duka momo ronde be siri en salo kono jangamira momo ne be experience to da ide ya ke nyala wala ya ke ko me fon la koda ko so natere be banko ke nyapi mul ke fa e fon la koda me an ko mu ambigel sugol ka hanye kadunji sugol kadum koda ko me yanon ko security le be bunda da to nin kidol e ka hanye kadum wala kodde kay fen so stay because to ta fonola bandanga mo geme an ko security le be la bunda do te nin kidol amake kinta make fulak hani bi sugol dun tere kodda ko ne dun tere bungol ko yele fen da jawol te ta tan bi me muta wo mu problem mo te sako do bal mel yanon ko ita man fen soto wo mu problem banko na man kanta banko dingol ka wulile ye fan secure because ita tarre bunko mol ka wuli ke fa ke la fa table wada ka nyapi la dimba ke rep silo kan wo mu problem mo lete inganta masakunda inganta wo jibelal abe mante ko mbengine kala mbengine ke empty promises Gambia non fana nyanta le kuni wote nimmo kana ka fo ko serunga ko mbedo mo rodi la madira jara na ka badira fa ko serunta wo mange jara ta bo gele ngadile so nyanta Gambia non le nyanta ka serious mo fe ko na be la banko kan freedom amake free tide ye sato sate ge bi kanata ye freedom o soto ye niole la freedom mo do ka fare do le balu banni mol be ko be silala atebeta Senegal mo munna de boto kunu bollo tale men ketela wala keta bare bi fi alhamdulillah Senegal bita kaza mole development no ge men bita so Gambia natan tol ba fu ka laftana banko e develop simple voting right masakunda madina ni tata helke ato ni tata mel yalon ko dialysis bigele kidney machine mata ko machine kidney bigi me yalon ko molbe fala everyday mbe masakunda diamo na because ibuka ila right moment ni ko be dandoro keda woto rek woto tamata serious ndata sera janga ba masakunda mbe danna because masama fenkente so mbe fo masakunda ko Gambia no ni masakunda bige masona fenkela aliye alkana la carte diala adama boro nali carte next 5 years momoro ni menketela ifo la ngini fa la baraka
nga mobe tentu nga mol be jay mel nata jam ne mel ba yin jibe kan sign or eventually mel ba jibe la nyaato dumande jamu Seattle la Washington diaspora Gambia no la bi jam bari denga men jube ko kono wala folo be mol be tentu la ngeje bari na badi me ñu programme be organize ni with me kolon fa burama jadam we bring a buba kibaro moy we thought that ko Gambian on le fanal be Washington State jam so pour mole na yena fanal yela voice ñol heard about ba mo be akolo ko ila ko do be dame yente dabula la jeel where your money is you have to put your mouth there so we feel like Gajigo come or any other media from Gambia now all the way yanajang Gambian on melbe concentratedly in Seattle area here pretty much new opportunity we think it might be a setback for us but thank you Fabrama for all the efforts and Jomma Kamara Domorodi Molla I done down Gunya Kendeke and DJ's Kitchen Fanantaraje I don't want to condone Diva Di Molla for Diva Fanan the same thing but Gambia will never come Falambole about these election issues Mbe alone the Kafoko at the get-go, within 2026 election, the kind of collusion Molen being formed, it was a wrong one. The person I don't blame myself. Kafoko, Katafo, Katala, Botala, then Natana. No. Look, in a sister country like Senegal, Najela ya collusion okela. But Yamunaka ya party-led collusion olak. Yaje ni atarako Adam Baroma resigned from UDP. UDP ba londi la silo la just like UDP ga pa Usain londi silo la nyame na ronta So I think the Kafoko, all the party leaders all been boom killing. Ya nyatonko tombonje during Jamela time. Kafoko abekala only 3 years or sifal. You know what? Honestly, I think it is a wrong method. Dunia bekono, that kind of political coalition of Bukakablat. Al-Kitale, political, because what was the past few results from the last elections or who is the winning candidate from which party? Senegal, Jomayola party mamme bake. Ya wada tatara jele. Isafo no kwanga kafu abla wadama. But they didn't do that. But yalo ka for Jomayola pastef nyol wolle momentum nyol soto. So you know what? All other oppositional side after Jomayola to try to win the election. Say Jomayola sign they are in a situation whereby they have to make sure Banco etama. Nimbanko Mantama, all other opposition will go back to their base and then start to make sure next election Jomayola lose. But Birimbaro Yajeko already now, I'm an independent candidate after 3 months in power. He started to fire and hire the way he wanted to do. So let us not be too naive as Gambians. Let us not be too naive. Banko Sambo Manke Chahanod. Just like in America here, recently, election of Menkanajak, Mbeya Democrats all lottery, Joe Biden push away. They thought that Kamala Harris would be able to win against Trump. Trump ni Hillary Clinton data nunjane. We have all seen that. And Hillary Clinton was more powerful than Kamala. Was more well known. But the thing is, leadership tombo nyung kumata bakene the way ayanta kala nyame. Ite kana patin ding soto ya foko ite nim pati bal melal ne ko la population share ite ko inol be ke kunkan kun kek aleta coalition la le leader tombo al damma le nyot no. Look, 2005, that's why most of our parliamentarians lost their seats. That NAD was formed. That should be a wake-up call for Gambians. When NAD was formed, that is a big opportunity for Kajako, parliamentarian side, they switch from their in a Sirao to another political party because NAD was a registered political party. Muneketa, eko saying NAD as an independent political party in the monitor your leader. We did it wrong. Why do we have to repeat that in 2016? Come on, Gambians. We should not do that. Thank you. Allah baraka kende ke bolol be kandirin diamo be siari. Nga Gambian kol betentu mel bi jangan in dunia adla bedo.
Baltentula kajai for coming here. The Gambian diaspora in Seattle to engage in this very important discussion. Namra mbenyi lona membe Gambia right now at this moment wala mnyintu ko. The draft Constitution 2020 versus the draft Constitution 2024. Memu kuo kungo ti jangola mintiko. Nama nyanda question no menyine kala jang in the first place. Why do we even have 2 draft constitution? May you understand ko sometime back the Constitutional Review Commission was established by an act of parliament. Because somebody president wala Polka Constitutional Review Commission constitute Yomol Tombo, billing journalist or lemba, lawyer lemba, public service members or lemba. Ye wuli yata Gambia yai. Ka Gambia tonko be yai, ka Gambia no be mit kenyininka. Alla constitution no alla left me al government. Al left ay kenyari. They spent almost $116 million on that Constitutional Review Commission. $1 million keme, $1 million tang ani wara wal spent on constitutional kono. Headed by Mr. Chono Jalo, the Constitutional Review Commission e Gambia BAI. Gambia no left men na inata ya tandi president ko Gambia no ko left nyina. Men be constitutional kono ay 2-term limit le keje. Anin ka tandi ko fanan ko Gambia no be diaspora. Ye right sur la as every Gambian citizen pour ka kato finding kate for be keri. Mbenyi remember la fanan the former chairman of the IEC Alu Momar Njai alota la signa jama afoko Gambian be diaspora yes right sur la pour ka kato finding kate for be keri. Anu ay lahi do ke ay promise di ko come 2026 Gambian be diaspora be kato file. So to our surprise nata muneje some members of the National Assembly wala nata ka constitution ota ka faram lafta ka faram nyame men keda di draft 2020 constitution odi. Also president al SGT4 wala the cabinet level wala faran sita damali ya kacha ita lafta metra ni constitution kono ani me manyana tarlaje. This is the time they came with the draft 2024 constitution. Ya somebody bito bumodo. Dipito le muneke follow. Mbe ajele dipito men yalon ko wolle diaspora bali plus ka kato fay. Most of them are the NPP dipito lamu and dipito men yalon ko they are nominated by the president. Ye president believe in the munela wala mintuko. Gambian so mbe diaspora jama ba man la fila. Ni alaw ya kato fay ita kanyala je. This is the main reason President and all NPP deputy and in deputy melonka tele nominated, they came together. Gambia no deny many along with diaspora pulikana cut off come 2026. Okay, imana don't find them malade. It recommend a fontelia, exusument and intel wala minduko. The draft the diaspora have to be organized as a constituency follow before be allow upon a cut off. Well, in the constituency let come like Nico Banyun South, Nico Banyun North, Nico Banyun Central. Equal diaspora and the constituency let to follow, then be diaspora not allow upon a cut off. But Mbea no ko clause 4, well, clause 14 in the draft 2024 draft 2020 constitution. When you attend the more lako, we can vote as Gambians based on where we live. You can use United States as a constituency. You can use Europe as a constituency. You can use Asia as a constituency. But at the end of the day, remember the president believes in the 90% or 95% of diasporans will not feel. If you allow them to participate in the 2026 election, it is kanyalaje. So this is a simple reason why Yemul deny the right to vote. So at the end of the day, Ntamasakunda Dani Laja. Dan ro yanta kala dama ani dia mo yanta kala dama ani mo yanta fitala melma wala mu na National Assembly member solti because na kato fay tele ne tele sindi o député bu ko pour yang represent ne tele ki o député bu for them to be the voice of the voiceless ne tele ki o kat député bu ko pour ye gamelo la right defense regard despite who you are, which political party that you are supporting. So nimbe nyimpro mo solfano wala mu nyintiko Gambians will not together as one again. Nanying na tandi nyola ko nyimanke partisan kuti. This has nothing to do with whether you are a UDPian or NPP letibang for the GDC for the APRC as far as our Gambian political parties are concerned. So Gambians have to come together one more time again. Na party ko and the Kerala na nyanto fight pul nyante mensura na soto. As a Gambian diaspora and also now concern movement to Kodeka, Nyaman can test Sanajaju Damala concern. This is a concern for all Gambians in the diaspora. All of the so-called security thing Kamenjo airport. May you understand no Gambian, ebe fintila Gambia bantale, eko kodolojo, menkata $1,000 system. Ni bota bantala banko kata Gambia for now, you have to pay that the same fee, menkata $1,000 system. And I believe that Gambian diaspora, this should be a concern to you. It doesn't matter whether you are a European or NPP or GDC or APRC. It should be a concern to every single person. I believe from Gambia, you pay that $1,000, right? Okay, so say another money. Kakota kajana ground. Follow colon $1,000. Nika bona Gambia, whatever fintila Gambia bandala. Nika bona US is $20. Nibabola UK is £20. Nibabola Europe is €20. It will care what is the exchange rate at that moment. So near $20 from a journey if the airport me along $20 is equivalent to $1,400 at this moment. It's $100 if mulindika. That means you paid $1,300. But only $1,000 is wala security port la case oko. The other $300 akada be the money alayalo. So bilia je sa cho shadow kuala, diamo shadow kuala, yamene ko koneke January 2025. Saiko Gambian passport no be able, you will pay $1,000 whether you are going in or you are departing from the country. So in order for koneke say about cho shadow about Gambian ka okay $20 shadow $1,000 hotile. Well, £20 shadow $1,000. Yamene ko say if you are a foreign passport holder, come like American passport will be able, wala British passport be wala French passport, you will pay $1,400 flat. Either you pay the $20 or you pay the £20, which is still more than 1,400, or you pay €20, which is still more than 1,400, or you left a dollar solo jola, you pay 1,400 jola. Mina na yewoke because yaji ko gambe no fere tale nimbita nin dollar solo kata nka dollar 1,000 ojo kak iko no sai o $20 me kajo nka kodindo men soro je wolbe kunto kada sai inata ye loi ko introduce sai if you are a foreign passport holder mo kana mistake wala mo jama be je be ero soro kan wala you introduce this January 2025 la sai ni American passport be you will pay $1,400 ni left a dollar solo jola or you pay the $20. Nim British passport you will pay the $1,400 or you will pay the £20. So momo yalon ko be Gambia wala te Gambia no te be based in the diaspora, whether it's in Europe or in the Americas. If this is not a concern to you, it will find jawalati. If this is not a concern to you, then it will damen it will bala faso de fire. Ye jawaya fire fan jawaya. Adu ni bala faso de fire, jama bala faso de. So this has nothing to do with Kafako UDP ko le meeting ni tafta airport te ba jola NPP ko ba tajola no. This is not about APRs in community, if I put it about your NPP Tajola. No, Mbeba Joka. So I believe this is another concern for Gambians in the diaspora. Gambians should put our political differences aside and come together and fight this. Come Diamla Kotolia for Nyame, and finally fight on fire. Okay, may you understand the so-called security port, company to mold the security port. It's not a government-owned company, it's a private company owned by a Gambian businessman. While a government approach on several occasions for introduce airport. Journalists will be done. I might be wrong, and I'm starting to be corrected. Gambia no damalaka ninjo. There's no other country in the world that ni banku dimbe dunne kajo ni be fintle kajo. Na to from ba joka ka fita mansa kundala case all for example, if we are paying that fees to the Civil Aviation Authority or we paying that fees to the Immigration Department in Gambia, maybe that could even make sense. But this is paid to a company, is owned by a businessman, president of a business partner. So kodo kada me da mali alo. Still airport do kuran ka fajele, still airport do jël ko manke jël. So ngajin ko do men jokada mintol. So I think as Gambians in the diaspora, we should engage each other. Let's put the political differences aside and fight for ourselves. So nyinem kudi men ka be patande ka sutatili andung unfortunately ko kuna political dundi je, ko kuna tribal issue dundi je, ko kuna badiya ko dundi je, for at the end of the day we are always the victims. So nanya so be follow ga. Allah baraka.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الذي أحيانا بعد ما ماتنا وإليه النشور الحمد لله على كل شيء ممن فلا لفتale please aliya try Gambian call ya moy nte mandiamu just mansakundai mediam la because nte fe Dibitele Menke is a challenge. They challenge diaspora, which is good. Diaspora ning ayatari din kendol be diaspora ning ayatari Gambia ile diaspora nkol nyor comme Gambia le sula mbolo na le come 2026 election because it's a challenge nte fe nte mamuta kujawmu because nimo ya nyitela ko ibama mfutu ite nyanta nyita la mba fututa foto ni moya nyite la ko ite manke dinguti e nyanta nyita la nte mu dingolete foto so dibitelu meni ko ntel manyanka carte fay mo manding e bota tunola mo manding yo dibuto lonne nte for instance ntel la dibite bota ntel fon la sate lo kono ndo malomu na korda fele silo fonten ma de fence le bentema wotumo fanga fence tide atela dindi ya kono fence ten na tema silo le bije nkata wolto so nim wo konte man nyang carte fayla ya yalon ay challenge le kodi so say nga jube fo wolbe muru wol nyantale kamuru la wo siran kan foy man nyam muru la wo siran kan wotuta diaspora fanambulu because nim korda kemelom be Gambia kono korda keme nsa folo korda tansay korda lulu wol bela baluwo be diaspora le bulu woto ni wo diaspora ko te carte fayla wo kordal nata carte fay wo député wol ye woto diaspora hanbi atel mo almudol pa fujo jaban sanjali bojang na alpha fololu men ya lon ko ye keloke pour ka Gambia londe a mofula singola wo manke pati kuti a manke si kuti fulolu bije mandinkolu bije surwal bije jolal bije sarakulolu bije kasinkolu bije manjakolu bije wolle loto ye Gambia ke Gambiat so say nin diaspora wo dingul le wo mamaringul nin wo dingul le be diaspora e ko ite carte e fayla. It's a challenge. Diaspora, are you guys ready for this challenge? It's a challenge. Man sakunda ya challenge le ko itel le ba fututa albati so say albe jola le ban fo albe lola le ali e bulaje yetuje. It's a challenge. Ali kana dimin nal dimin ta fanan kilia man jawya hasidiya wala jawyata bari kilia wo betata le gaji ko felanata America mfanan lafta na la America wo man tana maya bari ka gaji ko komproa na America wala tana maya pa Usman Diouf felente jang Gambian talent abe America as I successful ta ndefana lafta nga successful wo man tana maya bari pa Usman Diouf kanata wala tana maya so Gambian diaspora, this is a challenge. And I believe, you guys could win this war. Diaspora could win this war. Diaspora should win this war too. Because the amla follow mentambita jan $700 million. Mansakunda ni la dani roll ni la donto roll be ibuka wosoton no. Sankon. Atel ka wala dundina alla banko kan. Ikal te fenti al fanan sonta nyina ko al manke fenti. Watuta atel lebul. This is a challenge. So challenge me munyinti alinga kata nga wuli nga lo mofula singola dinding keba muskafurin kema alinga kafu nyoma 2026 nyini ko do or die. Mo membe kuto woko do or die. Ite membe kuto ite nyanta sila nasar. Mo membe fa siloka. Wo mafo nga fa. Mem mantar fa siloka woko nga fa. Donc woto ati nyaata nyin dola bulu famfo manke jalinta yati barembe altentula mbal jayla nte fede is a challenge and this challenge need to be won by diaspora and we could win this war. Seriously, it's a challenge. Yal challenge le wota al wuli Gambia dengu fem be dunia tonkon nano kono. It's a challenge. Yal challenge le ko itelle ba fututa albati. It's a challenge. Amanke nendiroti de. Ibal challenge kan ka jube fodun al sekutute no leba. Because we did it before. Demba, you are my witness. Sedi, you are my witness, and all you guys. 2015, 2016, Juma leka diamja. 2016 ninga kafo fan kumande mukatambi 9, 10 nasiata wati do. But B, how many people came here? It's because of diaspora. Diaspora le lote mo flasingona. To make sure we utilize social media, to make sure we educate our folks back home. Pro yalon ko muna muila nafati. And remember Kerry. So still welcome to Seattle. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I will take this little last minute to say thank you to Kerr Fatou. Afo Fatou Toure ya baraka. Muso ye baraka wulu, muso dingolom. Muso ye halalo wulu, muso dingolom. Muso ye barakantan wulu, muso dingolom. Muso ye baraka wulu, muso dingolom. Kuru jende mbasi nasaba nyang ani wuli kilimani. Turenga na amandi mori, janenga na amandi mori. Kombanga na amandi mori, beretenga na amandi mori, tuntan jontang ani nane mori kanja lulu ngaranani. Afaya baraka Gambia. Ay lodula memta, molu nyabalale. Hana danta don katel dol haya albe doko wala koto albe Gambia ko la fengol bondika nka lamoyle afaya barika wala ndesane pa bobo atu ako ala la yake nyin julo lo mu ala la keti silanjo mo make ko be karabayle ala baro jomo bu ko bayi jane ngana mandi mori ko mangana mandi mori bere tengana mandi mori wallahi wala mu toñati moye mello wala ka ñaabota ko mangana mandi mori bere tengana mandi to ko kutu fode jende fode baja mori tun tan jon tan nen nani ngara wallahi wala mu toñati Allah do ko wala ñiñata Kerr Fatou Allah do ko wala ñiñata Fatou Touré Allah do ñale ñiñata Kerr Fatou Allah do ko wala ñiñata Touré na mandi masale Fatou namu pabo sikili kabila ndulu bulumban kono ni ngina ngabora mani jada mumune wallahi wala mu toñati Fatou ma jo ñiñala de buba gaji gole welcome to Seattle ak abarika assalamu alaykum jaliyada Kerr Fatou wala be bora saw mandida fala dinnew kasa jawara sali job mbek molalma ndeysane joba juba lami chamini mulana de cham demba koti kala dunia mu kan diyan ma sudi wallahi wala mu toña de buba gaji ko Kerr Fatou assalamu alaykum Pabobo wala be ne bel dom se bu mandila Fred Gomez Pabobo mbesana jaju tentula bari ndeysane Fatou sawo kambi sinema ni aje mbena de te kam mbena laban ni tele kam katu ni laban de tele do mbeta la mbeta sana jaju ya sana jaju mambure ko bani bandamba non do bangana anin kala bilo sumanguru kantele ko basi ay bandambasi ay nyani si ay kamasi kasi ikaye jate bangale suba na mite na midokala na adama de wa barika Gambian talent ala barika pa Ousmane Diouf ala do nyaaja mal be lo Gambie wallahi wala mo tonya wallahi wala mo tonya mangi Gambia dimul dam mati fem kum boda West Africa yake ko mutin pa Ousmane Diouf wala mo toñati wala baraka du ñu ko bay sambal ngeen gaji ko ku bar ni kele mbeta Fatou Sawo la madame Dramé Fatou Sawo Rohi Malik Lo la Fatou Sawo wo Rohi Malik Lo bota gay lo le to gay lo le Malik Lo wulu ta Rohi Malik Lo la nam Aissatou Silla di wa fa ya barika bur banjul afaya barika jalisi atule bari mbafo la Fatou Sawo ya barika Fati muso dem Fati Haidara Qur'anu ba labba muniyu yaqiyu waliyullah kutubu rabban amin Fatou Sawo bota njaha saho le to jamme muso dem wa barika gasama muso dem ñim Fatou Sawo ntawo tala biti ko kono alon ko nin complete le kaboja alon ko nin fenne ba balaje men ben jisola bara wulu taw kono le njaha sawo yo le ke Gambia kono fo fisiru walle amu tawnte yaleti bari Fatou Sawo nyolu Sawo kunda binta Sawo doma afaya barika tango firmo Fatou Sawo abarika luwonu seni si se lota dawo da Fatou Sawo lota je si se na mandi mori jade na mandi mori o mani berde Fatou jadi ke abarika nam wallahi wala mutone Fatou Sawo abarika luwonu gaji ko hani bi mbafole welcome to Seattle yalon Pabo nam mbakum fala damen yaje nadari kawandole keta jam ñimu exemple dole ci jaliya barakatan alimeta siri jande ngame nga 2 hours ke jande $1 fam bota amambo bari jali Seattle nata fam bota balde banna to mba fala jaliya jamu Allah barika alay Ousseynou Dabola molu ala barika bari mba fala Gambian ko beya barika bari hani bi janni mbeñin kolo be kafla ñom man naita adum fa bo man so sula dola la ba wol ka dala solo mu gaji ko lafta Gambia diwul tentu la baake hani say ka fo ya barika challenge men dita Allah take the challenge on al kanamu ta ko yal neni le de adum al kanamu ta ko yal doyale al kanamu ta de yal challenge le nte lafta le ale challenge ning aliata head on and then win this challenge wotu mon tan jalolu bena mem fo lan sofo kadu men keta wala kafo mem manke wo kafo fangali kenzente ma fala Gambian ko le kote ikana nyina August 1st 2nd every mile way Gambian ko be ngebele invite kata bring Australia New Zealand fo katabula China kabo China fo katabula Mongolia fo bring Mongolia fo Dubai kabo Dubai Saudi Arabia fo katabula Africa fen ni sinusif ifutani afo bora ya lafta la yana every mile way event center well, Everett Malway Event Center ndefa bal muso na ke male taboti nde balla diko ni fanyame demba balde abarika kabira wuli tabron hon ko bata Gambian ko la Seattle kon the biggest hall and most luxurious hall in Washington state Everett Malway Event Center Demba Balde and Aissatou Balde wala tam diko nim fanyame fula muta jaba sinema sa jibini duna be andi sa maya manji tembe de ko jatta be assalamu alaikum jali Seattle I'm out
thank you I thank you so much ngal tindu kal je bake momo be jim programme o jube kanno diaspora to nyalo ko ganati ale Seattle jam United States of America nga diamulal be moyle mi alon ko ye wole fo about ena bankola ko do binkira Gambia ko di ngebe tindu je bage momo nata kamabe nyim be moto jam ko nga fa nyame minna boss le biya mole mi alon ko ata bentul nyaatu la metale dabe mol ko le mi alon ko to le silo tan den dolla fum futa dam futa damen bi wala na kabin data jandro nga je ko pour ni tele collaborer binkira Gambia talent ba Ousmane Diouf not collaborate mo kanyum program o nati but of course at a fanam bijande na we few things are analyzed lale of course very idea mo bela mo ele ko yalo ko wolle keta jam afo mo le monsieur Diouf na nga gisee waxtaan bi xamna ne ñu bari wax nañ seen opinion ci defi
jërëjëf Bouba mang la gërëm di la sant ak ñu ñoo seetaan yépp this is very fulfilling ñi fi nekk li ñu wax yépp soo ko seetee mooy li am focus nañ wala jublu nañ lu bari si yofi xaalis bi nga xam ne ñi nekk bitim réew moom la ñoo dugal Gambie waaye taxawaay bi nga xam ne moom lañ taxaw di jàppale suñ njaboot ci Gambia suñ ko defut làmbaay ñaaw boo du loolu rek sax level playing field bi nga xam ne moo nekk ci dëkk bi léegi li xew ba ku nekk mun a jóg wax ku nekk mun a def ñu ne léegi su lekkee olom gërëmee ko cooy loolu la olof njaay woon jamono métti woon na diaspora lañ yaakaaroon barki dim boo njaay la maa ngi fàttale ko 2016 I was very involved with the entertainment sector. Bi election bi xewé ba Yaya Jammeh bañ ne du dem li ma wax ci télé la the Gambia Music Union speech buñ binda pour wax Yaya Jammeh mu wàcca pour Adama Barrow toog man maa ko binda kitaabu di comedian speech bim read pour reject Yaya Jammeh to endorse Adama Barrow I wrote it ñu laaj ñoom Killa Ace laaj ñoom Jibu Balagay ak ñeneen ñoo xam ne ñu ngi woon foofu it was about 4 groups
in the entertainment industry who I mobilized and put together their speeches and send it to them. Ñu read seen speeches. Tey lañ mun na toog di fàtte yi. Each of those things mattered at the moment. Man Jaam su xeebu si nekk ci diaspora bi maa ko facilité woon. Lu bari lañ fi def. Li ma wax nii duma ko waxantu rek bi Yaya Jammeh téye Imam Babali. His website, I built it. His social media pages, I created. Kuy toppa Imam Babali on all social media at the time, I created. The decision that Imam Babali made back then in 2013, 14 or whatever, to stay in the United States was made in my house in Alaska. Dang ma laaj rek suñ contribution towards Gambia. Jamono jooju suma borode dem ba ma fi toog suñ waxee ñu ne ma déedéet yow APRC nga yow an enabler Yaya Jammeh nga faral li ma doon def ooyuma ko woon kenn pour wax ko ne maa ngi def lii ak lii ak lii ak lii. I always try to maintain a fair and balanced stance ba tey jii when it comes to media ak liggéey bi maa def. To government defee luy right we cover government, should government defee naka sudut noonu ñu wax ko. But because we were giving a lot of positive coverage to government to recognize what they were doing, we were labeled as the people that were pro-government.
APRC at the time.
Yes. But dafa am solo pour ñu xam lii ci diaspora bi laa nekk lu ma métti la ndax ku si am kàddu ku nekk doomi réew amul dara lu dul sa kàddu lu am solo la pour ñu def ngemba suñ njaboot ngemba suñ family du ci alal du ci doole du ci xam-xam. Diaspora bi one of the biggest contributions of the diaspora is educating their families back home and supporting them, and this is very important. It's not only the money that we are sending, but the education that we are providing to our people, the enlightenment we are providing to our people. Maybe that could be the reason why they thought that we need to be disenfranchised. But it's very important for us to recognize these things. But very importantly too, the contribution of the diaspora in terms of creating employment back home. Suma maski. Barki de Mbonja, less than a week ago, or about a week ago, La Jok Subama received a message from Yusufa Jata of 360 that he opened a new office space, thanking me for that. Yusufa would have been a vulnerable person if it not for the opportunity I gave him at Gambian Talents to do what he's doing today. He's literally the force bopam bi mo ñew ci internship programme bi ma initiate pour xalé yi fofu nonu. So many other people. Fo ci dem ci Gambia legi ci media houses yi. For the most part, xalé Gambian Talents yi ñu fa. Ci diaspora bi la nek, diaspora enable me pour ma mëna def li. Bima demé Gambia, I just came back less than like ci bir wéri koor bi ñoo celebrate independence yi may def coverage bobu nonu. They had the second national dialogue at the Sagay Dawda Jawara Kairaba Center. Bima demé fofu kenn ci xalé yi ñew that is working at State House, the press secretary, the press department of State House. Khadijatu Sawane ñoo jox ma loxo shake suma loxo. This was somebody ko xamne mako formé. Xalé yi ni duñ doon am opportunity bi ni. Suma create ton Gambian Talents di len jappalé di len empower di len jox all kinds of opportunity. Kemba ku nekk fofu right now di fa liggéey besides Fatou Samba, everybody else started as an intern with zero knowledge, zero experience, zero opportunity, zero connection. Be GRTS léegi xale yaa ngi fa di fa liggéey. So loolu ndam la. Just talking about suma personal experience and contribution. Nekk ci diaspora bi fii nii. So pour loolu ñu war a mën a sànni karta ñu bañ ko. Am na ñu fi jot a wax talk about the government reliance. Parce que démb Njaay la fi Central Bank of the Gambia jógee, I hosted them. Balaa loolu, when the Constitutional Review Commission came here, we played our major roles. We might interview, Justice Jallo.
The mobilization, we all were very happy to sit down with them, talk to them, unpack it, and tell them what we felt. Bufinyo Musubakoto, they know about the TRRC when they sent them, the logistics that we created, the opportunity, the outreach to inform the Gambian people and make sure that they came and talked to the Gambians and sought their input on these things. So yo yeb wax dega neex yalla warta nek lo xamne dafa dem in vain, because xalisi dekk bi pour ñu war ko utilize create all these transitional justice projects ñoo xamni create ni yeb lu am solo la pour bay ko xel nit suñ joxe sen input luñ bugga la pour mu nek lo xamne luy njëriñ dekk bi nekut otherwise barki de mbo njaay ñu ci bari wax nañ fi ci affaire yi Sénégal ak li fa xew pour ñu create ko fu melni Seattle ak other places amuñ won polling stations. They looked at key states in the United States and selected those places pour fan la ñoo voter kum ko jaral nga mun koo def nga dem foofu voter fa ku ci am moyen pour def ko ngeen dem foofu pour voter. It is practically impossible suñ doon seet United States alone sax pour ne every single state dinañ fa voter waaye suñ seetee major cities yi nga xam ne Gambian ci fa lañ ëppa ñu create polling stations at those places, at those states, wala in those cities, for melni Seattle. We have several border, states here. Yo xamne mën nañ fa voter. Ñi nekk Vancouver, Canada fi mën nañu Vancouver, BC mën nañu ñëw voter ci fi. Suñ ko defoon ñu nekk Portland, Oregon mën nañu ñëw. Yeneen states yu melni Vegas ak su ñaange mën nañu ñëw wala ñu dem California. So demee Atlanta, North Carolina ang fa, South Carolina ang fa, Alabama ang fa, Mississippi ang fa, Tennessee ang fa. These are all states that border with Atlanta. Su ñange be ñanga suwa North Carolina demuñ Atlanta, Maryland jegen na len. Delaware, Maryland jegen na len. Ñu nekk Philadelphia, ñu nekk New Jersey, ñu nekk Connecticut. All of those can come to New York to vote. Strategically, it could be organized in a way that you don't have to have every single state pour niti voter fofu. So lilu am solo la pour ñu bay ko xel, and very importantly too, consultation, which is one of the biggest challenges bo xamne ñun we have it as a country. Duñ they consult the people that are involved about their affairs. Te lolu dina ko ñaax nguur gi especially, but any other person that wants to do things for people. Washington State fee last year passed a law called Nothing About Us Without Us law. And this is actually geared towards empowering communities and people to be able to contribute towards the decision making about their lives. Li sabab be barki de mbonja less than a month ago, a few days before we record actually day after Julila, I was at the state capitol talking to lawmakers about different things. They were trying to sample opinions of different communities. And I was there representing the West African community and talking on behalf of our community about this. So it's very important pour ñu consult ak ñun su fekkee ne ñoom xamuñ ideas yi xamuñ lan lañ war a def pour taxawal lii suñ ñu consulter I guess loo Olof Njaay mu ne loo bañ naar bi nga seede ko xeesaayam. Loo bañ dañ naar bi nga seedeel ko xeesaayam wala dinaa ne fi mu nekk loo bañ pôl bi nga seedeel ko xeesaayam. Demba Baldé xam-xam dëgg la fi génnee xam-xam dëgg la fi génnee. And there are several other people ñoo xam ne they have the know-how, they are ready to do it. Diaspora are passionate about this thing, and Diaspora want to actually bring out, spend their own resources towards this because of the Nenyore. People don't really have to go to Gambia to make money. That's the fact. A lot of times, so okay, then wara nek Gambia wala da ngeen lifin, or you have a hidden interest or something. Not necessarily. Li is nothing about politics. Ñi taxaw fofu nak nañ xamne li la fal soko folé sa mujjentel ñaaw. Tay yow la elek sa morom. Ñi fi nekkon tay mi Jawara dem nañ in the First Republic. Ñi fi nekkon ci Yaya Jammeh ñu bari are ordinary citizens. Ñi nekk ak président Adama Barrow sax amna ñu nekkon ak mom ñoo xamne nekkatu ñok mom légui ñom ñep ay ordinary citizens lañ. And every law that they create affects them, hurts them, haunts them, and eventually they will also become subjects of those things. Loolu li ma fàttali mooy bi nga xamee ne Yaya Jammeh actually bañ na ne du génn ci boppi nguur gi in 2016 and ñu ne dañoo create a state of emergency I remember having a show in which I called so many National Assembly members on my Lutah Gambia to them show on a Sunday evening to remind them and ask them. And one of the things I was calling them randomly. I remember Papa Mr. Nyang of Afda Award was part of this. I remember calling National Assembly members around the country and telling them. And one of the things I was telling them is government come and go and the country stay. Twin Papa Lai Sen, Banjo, and others who voted for this bill, who were going to vote to have a state of emergency, to declare Gambia a state of emergency. They voted for it. They can be nekut in any state of emergency. But for partisan politics, they voted for that. Eventually, National Assembly members. They became ordinary citizens, and everything that happened now started to affect them. So it's very important for nit di baye xel li ñun suñu wax ñu ci bari dañoo japp ne waaw dañoo wax because of the fact ne either bëggulo nguur or otherwise. It's not about that. Nit ku nekk da nga am cër te you put your money where your mouth is. Foofu la ñoo waxee lii lu am solo la te dañ war a def seen kéemtalaay kàttan pour gis ne diaspora bi jox nañ leen opportunité suñ àqa la suñ gëdda la suñ yelleef la pour ñu jox ñu opportunité pour ñu mun a sànni karta loolu du loo xam ne dañ ko war a ñaan and ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk ci boppi nguur gi ñi nekk ci IEC ñi nekk ci National Assembly bi suñ soxlaa any ideas pour naka lañ koo defee nañ consult ak ñun nañ brainstorm ak ñun dinañ def suñ kéemtalaay kàttan pour waxtaan ak ñoom ba nga xam ne eventually dina sotti dina tekki.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my boss. Dila jaajëfal nga ñinde sotale bi ngal tindukal je baki momo be Kerr Fatou ni Gambia tele jibe kan no mbafala la baraka baki ale programme ono ma nyameng ala commencer dula fa bandula nga mo fanan tinduke je baki mo mi alon ko wol bele diamuta jang ko nga fa nyameng different political party momo ni la opinion nem momo ni la mira role. Of course am diaspora voting da mama kacajan fen jamal le kacara njigitale ko fanan mansakunda be ñilla moyle because jamudulal timi alon ko gambianol siata janne so ni diamu da mansakunda ñanti la moyle because ñille mol timi alon ko le mansakunda sindi gambia dingol lem e keltale prokaje ko ñi mansakunda mimbi ye pour ye traje. It is very very important pour idol fanan am yela moy Kerr Fatou ni Gambia talen albo le jibe kan of course am lal badi malem de buga gaji go anin nabbo sa pa Ousmane ala baraka bye bye.